We all know that there's no such thing as too much storage in your garage or shop, but buying it can be really expensive. And you can always build your own storage, but honestly, that takes forever. And I think I found the perfect solution that's both cost-effective and will save you a ton of time. A few years ago, I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I just happened to be looking for storage at the time, and I came across these filing cabinets. They were used from an old office building, and the guy was selling them for like 20 bucks. And I thought, these would be perfect for my shop. So I went and met up with the guy, and I ended up buying 10 of these filing cabinets. They're from an old office building, secondhand. I don't know what brand they are. I get people asking all the time, where did I get these? How can I buy these? They want to make the same miter saw station that I have. But the problem is I got these used off of Facebook Marketplace, so I really don't have anywhere to send you guys. But the good news is I see them pop up on Marketplace all the time. So much so that I actually just bought another 8 of these, not this exact one, but I bought another 8 from another office building that was going out of business. Went and bought some more so that I can make projects like this in the future. I'm even gonna make something for my wife's craft room for all of her sewing stuff, a nice little desk space using cabinets just like these. So now that I'm putting together this new shop, I thought this was the perfect time to show you guys the full kind of breakdown of my miter saw station. Like I said, I get a ton of questions around this. Almost every video that this is in, someone's asking either where I got the cabinets or how I built this or if I have plans for it. And I don't have plans for it, so I figured it would just be best to make a video kind of going over the full construction and show you guys how to put it together. Before we move on, I just wanted to draw some attention to something I noticed in the last video, and that's that nearly 87% of you who watched are not subscribed. And if you like this kind of content, the best thing you can do for me and the channel is to subscribe so that I can continue making content just like this. And if you want to further support the channel, I did recently just launch YouTube memberships and a Patreon. That'll be linked down in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. Oh boy. This video honestly feels a little bit weird because usually I'm building stuff, and in this video I'm really just going to be kind of taking this apart and showing you guys kind of how it was built. But I also wanted to say that you can apply this to kind of any sort of storage unit that you want to make. If you just want one big long flat top, you can do that. I just chose to do a miter saw station because it made the most sense for me. So the first thing I have to do is get the tops off of here. Obviously these are separate, and I built these in another video. I actually did a full build of the tops here. It's just MDF construction with some laminate on top, but if you want to see that full build on how these are made, you can look at the video. I'll link it in the top corner. So let me take this off here. So my main goal for this project was to spend as little money as possible while getting as much storage as possible. And obviously the filing cabinets really helped out with that. I got all 4 of the units that go in here for about 80 bucks, and I was able to build this kind of carcass that surrounds everything with less than a sheet of plywood. All right, I just want to do kind of an overview from the top here, just so everyone can kind of see. This is a very, very basic build, and that's why I never put any plans out or anything, is because I really don't know what kind of cabinets that you might get. So you're gonna have to kind of customize it based on, what I did here. So that's why I'm making this video, just to kind of give everyone an overview of, how I built mine, and how I used the least amount of wood to do so. Is really just, the only full sheets you see here are the sides and the bottom. The top just consists of 2 stretchers. I think these are about 4 inches wide, and just these vertical pieces. I've got 4 of them, 3 in the front to obviously divide the cabinets, 1 in the back to basically support this back stretcher piece. And then I just put in some blocking to make sure that everything, once you slide the cabinets in, everything stays nice and straight. All right, so on the bottom here, I just made these kind of little legs for this to sit on. And then I use these adjustable feet, which I will tag down in the description below if you want to get anything like this as well. But these are really just going to support the cabinet, obviously. And then most shop floors, or where you're going to make something like this, are not typically level. So these are all adjustable, and you can dial them to whatever height you want and just make sure that you get everything level. And then the middle one's a little bit different, just kind of adding these wedges to make sure that they don't obviously fall to either side. So yeah. All right, so now that you know how these are constructed, I'm gonna go ahead and install my miter saw station, which will be the first thing I install in my new shop. And the first thing I have to do is get both of these level with one another and just level in general. So what I'm going to do is take off the other top, because in order to secure these to the wall, I actually have pocket holes in the top that go into the wall, which honestly wasn't the best idea. I think I should have put them on the underside just so I didn't have to take the tops off every time I wanted to pull these out from the wall, but you know, hindsight. But I'm going to take the top off, get both of these leveled, and then basically put everything back together. So to get these level, I'm going to be using this laser level that I have set up over here. And I'm going to be using kind of this reference block, or some people call them story blocks. And I'm essentially going to see, I have this unit exactly where I want it, just above this piece of trim. So the trim kind of dictated where these are going to be. But I'm basically going to see where that level line is here on this block, and then I'm just going to mark it with a pencil. And then I can go around to all the different corners of these cabinets and basically adjust those feet until they all line up with this mark on this block. So I can go right here. And I did already do some of this off camera, so they're going to be pretty close to on. But I can see that this front corner of this one is actually needs to go up just a hair, because that pencil line is falling just below that there. So I will get under there in a second, and I'm just going to kind of go around all the corners and see where I am. This one I can't see because my camera person is in the way. Actually, I think there's actually just a shadow. 1 second. Don't move. There we go. And you can see this front corner is perfectly level with that back corner because that laser line is falling right on there. Camera is just in the way of that. And then if we move to the back here, you can see that that one is also on perfectly. And here's where those adjustable feet are really helpful. You can see that the front corner of this cabinet is actually, I don't know, about an 1/8 inch, 3/16 too low. So we're just gonna drop down here and give it a few turns until that starts to line up. And it doesn't take much. I'm not sure what these are rated for, but I've stood on these things and have had no issues with any strength. So, and just like that, this front corner is now perfectly level with this side of the cabinet. And I'm just going to go around basically all the corners, make sure all of that is dialed in. And then we can basically secure this to the wall, put the tops back on, and slide the cabinets in. All right, everything is now level. You can see everything hits right on that mark, just as we want. Do it in the middle as well. Level all the way around. All right, so now that everything is leveled, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the platform for the miter saw to sit on. It's just a little frame I made out of some ripped plywood. And you just wanna make sure that you get this to the right height so that your miter saw is flush with the top of the tables, which I did a long time ago. So I'm really just putting it back into its same places now. Hopefully. All right, so after fighting with that thing for a few minutes and then putting it in upside down and having to do it all over again, we finally have the kind of the frame for the miter saw in there. This just goes on top. Got a little notch cut out for dust collection. And this is one thing that I hope to kind of upgrade this in the future, give it maybe some micro adjustments so that I can get it exactly level. It sometimes isn't perfect, but that'll be a future project. So the next thing to do is secure everything to the walls, which I'm just going to do with all of these pocket holes here. I used to have to do it so that they lined up with the studs in my last shop, but because we have this 3/4 inch plywood on the wall, it's either 3/4 or 5/8, I'm not sure. I can basically just screw anywhere into the wall and it's going to secure it. So I'm just going to go through, there's some down in the bottom as well, so attach the bottom and the tops, and then after that we can put the tops on and drill the cabinets in. All right, everything is now secured. It's not going anywhere. Now it's time to throw in these cabinets, and then we'll throw the tops in after that, so you guys can kind of see how they slide into their little cubbies. These things are not light, so I'm gonna put them on this little cart and wheel them over there, and I'm gonna try to put them back in the order that I used to have them, because right now trying to find anything is not fun. These cabinets did actually used to have rollers on the bottom, but I had to take them off because I didn't want them, you know, every time I go to open them, if they were on rollers inside of the cabinet, they would probably just start rolling out. So I took all the rollers off, which kind of sucks for now, but good for other things. This way. Oh boy. Bear with me. I should have locked these. Okay. Seven to go. I'm gonna lock it this time. That way that doesn't happen again. Oh, these are fully loaded, by the way, and they're very heavy. All right, so all of the cabinets are in, but I just realized that I'm a little dumb. I wanted to give you guys a good shot of all the cabinets, you know, sliding into place, but in order to secure the tops onto here, I attach it with screws from below. So now I need to take out 4 of these, put the tops on, screw it from below, and then put them back in. So let's do that. All right, so that's it. I think this is the honestly greatest hack for any type of garage or shop storage that you want to do, even for like a craft room. I think you can't beat this kind of storage here. In total, I spent $160 on all of the filing cabinets, and just keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace. I see these pop up all the time. Just type in office filing cabinets or just filing cabinets, and I guarantee eventually someone's going to be selling these. And then as far as building out the structure that kind of contains them, it's maybe 2 sheets of plywood, which may be $140 for that. So $300 in total for all of this. And then if you want to build your own tops, like I said, I do have a video on this. Not sure what the cost was on that. It's the laminate, I think 1 sheet of MDF. So really, again, not that expensive to even build the top. So maybe add another $100 for that. And you have what I think is a massive amount of storage where I can hold all of my things, my sandpaper, my glue, really anything that I need in the shop. Most of it fits in these cabinets.